Welcome to another tournament special edition of the Five Star Zone. Rico Beard, Harold Shelton from the BTN joining me. Harold, getting ready to break down the MSU versus MSU, Michigan State versus Mississippi State game. Want to kind of get it from the Michigan State perspective, but when you look at this game, Tom Izzo extends, 26 years in a row. But coming in at a 9 seed, 9 seeds typically do not do well in the tournament. As a matter of fact, if they happen to make it past the first game, I read a stat that they are just 1-9 in the second game. So I think Northern Iowa may be the only 9 seed that I know that actually upset and won and made it to the Sweet 16. But that being said, you got to take care of what's in business at hand. Mississippi State, Harold, when you look at this game, what type of matchup is this for Michigan State?
Definitely seems like a rock fight. So, the fact that they've had a bunch of them in the Big Ten should have them ready for this one. They're kind of a weird team where they kind of do the pack line defense thing where they want you to shoot a bunch of jumpers. They pretty much want you to shoot a bunch of threes, and they're really good at defending it. So if you fall into that trap, that could be an issue. Even though they have some bigs and they have some athletes, they don't really have any shot blockers. So if you can get inside and make layups, the dump offs that Hogarth can get to some of the bigs, if they could finish around the rim, those opportunities will be there. Like there's not a Zach Edey down there that's blocking shots. There's not a Khalil Ware down there that's blocking shots. So there are opportunities there if you don't fall into the trap of just settling for threes.
Well, see, they got the 6'11" big man, but you're saying he's not a Zach Edey, Khalil Ware type.
Now he'll rebound. He gets about 8 rebounds a game, but they just really don't block shots. It's more of a position defense kind of thing. So like you're just an SEC play alone, they block about maybe 12% of shots. I'm sorry, like 8% of shots, which is 13th in the conference. That's just really not something that they do. Now they're big, they're physical and all of that, but I wouldn't say they have a rim protector that you need to be scared of. If you're going up soft, that's one thing, but I don't think you have to worry about just an eraser down there.
So basically, they try to pack it in, make you shoot threes, and then on the other side, they shoot threes. They don't make them, but they get the offensive rebound, putbacks, easy baskets. Like I like to call them the Dennis Rodman baskets.
Yep. Now I will say it's mostly one guy for them that does that. The freshman guard they have, Josh Hubbard, he's taken 295 threes on the year. Like a ridiculous amount. He's had a game where he shot 18 of them in one game. He's had 8 games where he shot at least 10 of them. So that's it. Sorry, 12 games where he shot at least 10 of them. He's had at least 5 made threes 8 times. So this is a guy that he's getting them up. Now, he's not a good shooter inside the arc, but he can definitely make them from deep. And last 8 games or so, he's averaging about 25 and shooting about 39% from 3. So he's lethal. I don't know if that's a Jaden Akins or a Tyson Walker assignment, but I think if you could slow him down, it pretty much slows everything else down for that offense.
So when it comes to Hubbard, would it be better off to almost let him go into the lane and just spot up and shoot threes?
Yeah, I would. Yeah, I try to run him off the line as much as possible because he's a guy, he wants to get up as many threes as possible. He's good at the line, so like you don't want to put him there. But if you can run him off the 3-point line, make him take some long twos, force it in the paint, I think you'd have a much better chance of success.
So now, if you're Michigan State, how do you win this game?
Force a bunch of turnovers. Mississippi State's loose with the ball. They turn it over about 19% of the time. They also don't shoot well from the free throw line, so don't give up any easy ones. Make them earn it. They shoot about 63% from the line. So if you got all those fouls down there with Sissoko and Cooper and Kohler, like commit them. Like make them earn the points. Don't give up layups, and get the rebound off the missed free throw because they're really good at offensive rebounding. They are not good in transition defense. They are not good in giving up points off turnovers. Those are issues where they struggle a lot. They give up about 11 fast break points a game, which is 290th in the country. They give about 14 points off of turnovers, about 260th in the country. And again, this is out of 362 teams. So those are areas where they really struggle. We've seen Michigan State when they're at their best. they're digging down, getting the steal, getting out and running, or getting the passing lane, get out, get running, easy 2, easy 3. That's how Michigan State has been able to win games. If it's just been a half court slog, we've seen them struggle a lot. But if they're getting some easy ones, that kind of helps their confidence. Then they want to get down, they want to guard. For whatever reason, they don't guard if they're not making shots, it seems like, at least from the guards. So if you get Jaden Akins going, you get Hogarth going, all of a sudden they want to start locking up. And I think just getting some easy ones would allow that confidence to start building.
It's funny because Harold, that was my next question: is if you're like, is this an AJ Hogarth game, Tyson Walker game, Jaden, or a backcourt game? Is this a Malik Hall type of game? Like, who do you, if MSU wins, who has to be the leading scorer?
I'd say the guards have to make shots. I still think Tyson Walker being like a high volume guy is not the best way for them to win. I know we've talked about it a couple times on the pod where, when he gets more than 25, they lose. So you need to have it be all three of those guys. It needs to be Jaden Akins making shots. It needs to be Hogarth getting into the lane and finishing and making free throws. I think if you could just take Hubbard away, if Walker's main thing is, look, make sure Hubbard doesn't beat us and let Akins and Hogarth do their thing, like, I think you would take that trade-off because I think there's more firepower on the Michigan State side.
Well, it's funny because earlier you talked about, you got the centers and you use the fouls. Could you also do the same because you got AJ, because you got Tyson, because you got Jaden, and you got Trey Holloman? Use all 20 of those fouls to kind of work him down and get Hubbard, get him tired. So now he's, front iron the rim.
Yeah, I don't think that's a bad idea. And for whatever reason, and maybe this would have been different if Fears was there, but I remember earlier in the season, they were kind of picking up 94 feet and, just doing that alley drill, making the point guard turn over and over again, trying to wear him down. We haven't seen it as much, but maybe that's something that they do in this game because they are so loose with the ball. If you put pressure on them, speed them up, they clearly don't want to do that. And so I think that would be an easier way to get some points. And if you get some fouls, so be it. I'd rather not foul Hubbard a lot because he is a really good free throw shooter. But if you get some fouls digging down on the bigs or you get some fouls on some of the other guys, like, I can live with that.
So is this a game where we should expect to see a lot more of Xavier Booker, or is this more of you just going to stick with Matty and Carson Cooper and I guess the one person that we never really talk about is Jackson Kohler. I mean, I don't really know what he is on this team. He's there, he shows flashes, and then there's other times he shows frustration. Like when I look at the MSU bigs, like, is there one that can particularly stand out, or is there a mismatch there?
I think Booker could be a good option in this game, especially if it's a situation where they want you to shoot threes. I feel like there's going to be pick and pop opportunities there. There could be opportunities to finish around the rim with lobs. We saw that a couple times in Minneapolis. And then we saw, late in the Purdue game, they drew up a play for Booker. So they clearly seem to trust him enough to take that shot, knowing that he has the ability to make it. I thought Kohler actually played pretty well in Minneapolis. He probably played the best offensively of all four of the bigs that they have. And maybe he's getting some confidence there. And again, since they're not a shot blocking type of team, like, maybe that's a situation where, he has that footwork in the post and draws fouls. Hopefully he makes his free throws. But it doesn't seem like a situation where, he's going up against Ware and he's getting his sent into the third row.
Well, yeah, or Edey, it was just funny because you could tell everybody knew Edey was around. Nobody comfortably went to the rim. It was always, okay, Tyson would have to throw it high off the glass, or AJ was always looking behind his back. But yeah, if they're not shot blocking, then, I could easily see where, AJ and Tyson just running towards the basket, getting the layups and the easy points. MSU started off slow. Is this a game where if they start off slow in this game, saying it's going to be a rock fight, if you fall down by 10 points, like I always said, falling down by 10 points to Wisconsin was like 20 points because the game was going so slow. You really didn't have a chance to dig yourself out of this hole. Is it that type of a game?
I wouldn't go that far. Like, they're not a team that wants to just completely take the air out of the ball like a Wisconsin or Virginia or something like that. I mean, they aren't fast. I mean, they're like 200th in tempo, but I wouldn't say it's necessarily a death sentence if you go down 10-2, 11-4, 15-6, something like that. I definitely think there are opportunities to get back into the game. Again, they just have to rebound. And, I don't like the fact that Malik Hall is the leading rebounder. Like, I feel like it should have been one of the bigs all year long. But as we saw against Minnesota and Purdue, the team was much better gang rebounding, basically, because they were able to out-rebound two really big front lines. And I feel like a lot of that is effort related. So if that effort continues in this game, then, I feel like they should win. I mean, it's an 8-9 game, so it's teams that have flaws, but it's teams that have done good things throughout the year. I think I saw Michigan State was favored by 1.5. I think they're only one of 4 or 5 teams that are the lower seed that are actually favored in their first round matchup. So I think there's opportunity there to win it. And the last time we saw Izzo as a 9 seed, he's won both times in the first round. One of them was the 2017 game before they lost to Kansas, and they blew out Miami. And then they blew out Marquette as well in the 8-9 back in 2007. So he has a little bit of success as a 9 winning that first game, but not much after that.
Right. Now, Mady Sissoko, seems like he's almost been demoted, went from a starter to now coming off the bench. Now, he gave you quality minutes in the second half, fouled out against Purdue. But, man, he went in there and used all 5 of his fouls for the best of his ability. What's Mady going to be like in this tournament? Could he be a person that could kind of be an X factor, or has Mady's role just been reduced now that Booker's starting to play more?
So I thought it was interesting that he barely played against Minnesota, and then they basically put him in out of necessity against Purdue, and then he had like 7 rebounds in 10 minutes before he fouled out, and it was like the most active and the most engaged I've seen him in over a month. And you're kind of wondering, like, well, where has this been? He was up there going way up high, grabbing the rebound with one hand, and he went up strong a couple times. And I'm like, where has this been? Like, you don't get demoted if you're rebounding like that and your effort is like that.
Right. Do you think it lit a fire under him?
Maybe it did. Maybe it did. And again, because they don't have a shot blocker, like, I think that certainly helps. They're going to need him, on the glass for sure, because their big man Smith, like, he averages 8 rebounds a game, but even though he's a big guy, it's like less than half a block per game for him. So I don't think you have to worry about like trying to go up and getting it blocked, as we've seen with some of these other bigs that they played recently. So I think they just have to be smart, and I think they'll probably use all 3 or 4 of them, and maybe that helps tire Smith out on the Mississippi State side. But I definitely would like to see more Kohler and more Booker, maybe even together, because it seems like offensively that kind of opens things up more.
So MSU wins this game if they're making baskets in the transition and they're hitting their outside shots. It's basically what you're saying.
Yeah, I would agree with that. And I think there's an opportunity for those mid-range twos, which Michigan State loves to shoot. Unfortunately, they haven't been good at making them in the last 10 games or so, which is why we've seen them kind of stumble into the tournament. Akins hasn't really been good since the Michigan win back in East Lansing. And Tyson Walker, he had a good Indiana game. But other than that, from a jump shooting perspective, he hasn't been good. We saw against Purdue, he was 6 for 18, made a couple big ones late. But other than that, he's kind of struggled with the jumper. So there are opportunities that are going to be there. Malik Hall is another one who loves to shoot that mid-range, that fade, that elbow jumper when he, goes into his bag and all of that. Those opportunities are going to be there. They have to make those shots.
All right. Well, I appreciate it. And also, I got something for you because you're the stat guy.
All right.
So I always try to impress you. But here's a weird stat. You know what the last 19 years, the most important week in college basketball is?
What's that?
It's week 6.
Okay.
Here's why. Week 6. Hold on. I just lost the team. But in week 6, here's what happens. If you're in the top 12, you're going to win. One of those 12 teams is going to win the national title.
Okay.
AP week 6 poll, last 19 years, everybody who's been in that top 12, somebody won the national title. So that means there's 11 teams because Oklahoma was in there.
Mm-hmm.
So now I can even help you for those watching this. If you're trying to pick your winner, you can now subtract 2 more teams because nobody west of the Mississippi has won since the 90s. So now you could take out Gonzaga and you could take out Arizona, and it leaves you just a bunch of teams from, well, I'm trying to think. No, take out Creighton as well.
Okay.
So, yeah, so it leaves you a bunch of teams that something like 8 or 9 teams that can win the national title. So if you go back to week 6 of this year, that's the criteria. So, yeah, I found that out. Like, wow, is this real? And yeah, it's a real
That's
stat.
surprising. That's good, though. I like that.
So, yeah, there you go. Tell your friends, impress the people at work. You know what? You the smart guy. They're going to believe you came up with it, not me. But somebody
I give credit where it's due. That's a good one.
Somebody sent that to me, and I had to do the research, and I'm like, wow, that really is legit. So there you go. There you have it. So if you're filling out your brackets, it's only about go back to the AP poll of week 6 and look at those teams. Oklahoma's not in it, so you're down to 11. Then you subtract the teams west of the Mississippi, and your winner's going to be somewhere in there because it's been that way for the last 19 years. So
that's a crazy stat.
Hell, I'm just trying to impress, man. That's just what I'm trying to do. All right. Oh, wait. Yeah, because all right, I got it now. Here are the teams that are in there. So it would be between I'm trying to think. Kansas, Purdue, Houston, UConn, Baylor, Marquette, Creighton, Carolina, Tennessee.
Okay.
So
yeah, I feel like the champ will be one of those. That makes a lot of sense.
That was your top 12. Minus Arizona was 1 and Gonzaga was 10. But other than that, yeah, 11 of those 12 teams are in the tournament. So we'll see what happens. So yeah, next year, if you're MSU, you want to be in the top 12 after week 6.
Exactly.
Because that's important. That means it gives you a chance. All right, Beryl, appreciate it, man. Thanks for this doing this breakdown of this game. We'll see what happens. If MSU wins, we'll be back Monday. If not, we can just do a tournament breakdown later on in the week.
All right, sounds good.
All right, man. Thank you for your time. Thanks for watching and listening to the 5-Star Zone. Rico Beard, Hale Shelton. Hey, keep liking and subscribing, and we will be back next week for more Tournament Madness.